We know the African and Caribbean business community contributes quite a lot to the UK economy, and the value of the black pound is in the billions. This week, we caught up with 3 entrepreneurs who tell us how they keep things moving in this trying time.
The current youth generation amongst the Caribbean community in Britain almost have no interest in the Caribbean whatsoever.
People don't realise this exercise is as simple as lifting up a can of beans.
The fact that African and Caribbeans love movies and anything to do with moving images is no secret. But it is also a fact that the Caribbean community is underrepresented when it comes to our visibility on British television. So we caught up with Ron Belgrave, founder, director of Sankofa Televisual, for his views on the situation.
There is a massive task ahead because even when you make Caribbean people here aware in Britain that there may be some Caribbean programming available on television, because they're so not used to having it and because they're so out of touch with it, they don't immediately kind of gravitate towards it. But the British Caribbean community has something else to contend with. Not only is there an absence of their Caribbeanness on television, there is also an absence of their Britishness on television.
So that says clearly that Sankofa Televisual has quite a lot of work to do in terms of educating the African and Caribbean community here. So in that sense, what are you doing and what are your plans for the future?
At the moment, I'm focusing on programs that are already made rather than commissioning new programs because that's quite expensive. And so the first program that I've been able to get broadcast in Britain is a kind of sitcom, soap series, comedy called Keeping Up with the Joneses.
Me? Daddy, I don't feel so good.
What's wrong?
My belly hurts me. I don't think I can go to school tomorrow.
Our son Nathan is many things. He's smart, a gifted footballer. He's also the best at conjuring up illnesses when midterms are looming.
Nathan has a mathematics midterm tomorrow morning, so him being sick today is no surprise to us.
The last time Nathan had exams, he claimed to have leprosy and wanted to go down to the hot pot and dip 7 times.
Then there was the time he had sudden onset paralysis.
Nathan, is this another one of your schemes to get out of exams?
Daddy, are you serious? I don't feel so good.
The current youth generation amongst the Caribbean community in Britain almost have no interest in the Caribbean whatsoever. And indeed, even their parents, kind of our generation, don't really have much connection with the Caribbean. Last year, I hooked up a TV channel from the Caribbean with one of the African stations here, and they did a broadcast around the period of the Olympics. I heard afterwards that a teenage boy of Jamaican background here watched the show, but absolutely refused to believe that the show was being broadcast live from Jamaica, because even though he was of Jamaican ancestry himself, he could not comprehend that there were kind of middle-class, articulate voices in Jamaica. And that was what the TV hosts in Jamaica had. He thought Jamaicans only spoke with a kind of ragga-ragga, kind of on-the-ground accent that he'd been used to here in records, etc. It shows that not only did he, of Jamaican descent, know very little about Jamaica, but even his parents weren't teaching him much. So one of the things that we're doing in the near future, a joint event between Sankofa Televisual and CaribDirect, is a seminar to look at Caribbean visibility, or indeed invisibility, on British television and cinema screens.
We've been told what we as African and Caribbeans need to do to keep healthy, particularly with what we eat and drink. But there's another important side to getting healthy that many of us shy away from, and it's keeping fit. So we caught up with veteran fitness trainer Decarlo Oakley for some tips.
People want to come to the gym, but they can't afford it. Why don't you start at home? You can sit on the couch, stand up. That's exercise. You know, you can lie down on the floor, stand back up, get out of bed, get back in bed. That's all exercise. It's all
As simple
movement.
as that?
As simple as that. Just getting into bed and out of bed. You know, you can get into bed on one side, yeah, put the duvet over you and open and get out of bed. 20 times, get on the other side, do the other arm. You know, it's exercise. A lot of people don't realise exercise is as simple as lifting up a can of beans.
That's interesting, because we had someone tell us about nutrition and how you need to watch your diet and so forth not too long ago on the same show. Now you're telling us about exercise. So are you saying that they both need to be done in tandem in order for you to get good results?
Yeah, nutrition is very important. No matter what, nutrition is. If we didn't have nutrition, yeah, then your body's gonna, you know, it's pointless doing the exercises because it's not gonna benefit you in that way. So that nutrition is very important. If you are big, through good nutrition, you can lose weight. Yeah, you can become a lot healthier. But it's the same with exercise. If you didn't have the nutrition, if you didn't have good nutrition, you had bad eating habits, you can still lose a bit of weight through exercise. But when you combine them both together, good nutrition and good exercise, you know, the world's your oyster. Okay, David, what I'm going to show you is an exercise I call is a Bob Marley. Yeah, because you get up and you stand up. That's why I call it Bob Marley. Yeah, simple exercise. What it does is help stretching the tendons within the knee, as well as working the leg muscles as well. Yeah. What you do is you bend your knees, yeah? And when we bend our knees, what we're doing is we're stretching out the tendons. A lot of people suffer from bad knees, yeah? So this is a good way of stretching, get more flexibility within the knees. What you do is then put your hands on the floor, working your abdominal muscles. From that position, all you do is walk forward on your hands, keeping your feet still. You take it to the floor. When you're on the floor, this is where you rest, yeah? And then you push back. Here, when you push back, working the chest. Now you're working the arms. Coming up, working the legs, glutes, stand up, one move. It's quite simple, it's quite straightforward, quite simple to do. So anybody can do this exercise.
And you can do it at home.
Can do it at home, yeah. Don't need a gym, at home is where you begin.
Fantastic.
What I would advise people to do is learn to lift yourself. When you lift yourself, you'll be proud of yourself. You know, people might think, oh, if I lift this weight, I'll be proud of this weight. But what about the weight that you're carrying? You carry it every day. Make it easy to carry. Make your own body weight not be a burden. And that's how I think. That's the Decarlo philosophy.
The art form Lovers Rock is a sweet melodic derivative of reggae with romantic sound and content, made popular by the likes of Ken Booth, Johnny Nash and Alton Ellis in the 70s. We caught up with an artiste who has made a business out of singing love songs around the world.
We have told that you're the daughter of a legend. Tell us more about how you got that title.
I got that title originally from Spain. I remember I was backstage with Super Irie and I could just hear the crowd saying Daughter of Legend, Daughter of Legend. And as far as I was aware, it was just me and Super Irie going to be on the show. And I was saying, is anybody else going to be on the show? Where they're flicking around looking for a flyer. And they're saying, no, it's you, it's talking about you. And it was just, you know, it was an honour for them to give me that title. And so I've just embraced it and I've used it ever since.
And tell us who's the legend that you're the daughter of.
Alton Ellis.
Yay. So your biggest achievement so far, tell us about it.
My biggest achievement so far, I would say, is winning the British Reggae Industry Awards for the best reggae newcomer, female newcomer. Also doing a tour with John Hope. I've toured with John Hope recently and it was wonderful. Also completed my album and I did a pre-show at the Jazz Cafe, which was a launch for my album called Versatile. The list just goes on.
Being a record artist, what is the life of a singer like? How much work do you have to put in to get to this point of having major interest in your albums and launches? What's that like? I'm
glad you've asked me that question because a lot of people seem to think, oh, you know, I've got into it really easy because of my history with my dad. But it is not as glamorous and easy as they think it is, because I see my dad as a lot of other people he's a legend, and I see him as on a pedestal when it comes to the music industry, and to live up to that is very, very hard. I wouldn't even try to live up to that. You know, I'm an artist in my own right, and so I've done a lot of work to get to where I am, and it's basically not so much looking at what other artists are doing, because I kind of want to be, like I said, an artist in my own right, and I want to be individual, I want to be different from them, but kind of taking a few things out of their books and promoting myself, being around the right people, people that want you to get somewhere, people that are willing to support you in what you're doing, you know, and kind of get involved, that sort of thing. But it is hard, but it's taken a lot of work, a lot of practicing, a lot of sleepless nights, but it's worth it so far. Cry not for me, my willow tree, don't shed your tears eternally.
Now, what inspired that music? Because so far it's the only track I've heard and it's one of my favorites out there. So what inspires it, and tell us more about the sound and how you came about releasing that as one of your singles.
Well, I decided to do that track before my dad passed away in the hospital. There was a few family members there and my manager, JC Thompson. And we were in the room with my dad, and I remember my dad putting my hands and my manager's hands together and just said to him that I want you to look after her and just carry on the music legacy that, you know, I've started. And I just remember turning back on him and crying, and I could hear my dad telling me not to cry anymore. And that's when I went ahead with the song Willow Tree, and I've kind of put in the bit where he says don't cry no more for my dad. I've put it in the track. And I've just took it away from the original. You know, everyone was expecting it to be like the typical reggae track. I'm a versatile artist, so, you know, I kind of like my R&B mixed with my reggae, or my samba mixed with my R&B, etc. And it's got a good response so far.
So your album Versatile, where can we get it?
My album will be out very soon. We had a really good response when I did the launch at the Jazz Cafe. And I've also had 3 major record companies that are interested in the album, so it won't be out yet. But if you want to just keep following me on Twitter or Facebook, I will keep you updated on when it's going to be out. For I have found the love I've searched for. I need your teeth no more. No more.
This has been CaribDirect Diaspora News in Brief. Join us next time for more news, commentaries, and exciting interviews to keep you informed.